What is up, everyone? What is doing? Wolfie here from the Rage Traders, and State of Origin Game 1 has just finished, and boy, oh boy, was it a cracker of a game. Controversy, but nonetheless an absolutely crazy game. Going to be going over the points I scored, obviously, and just a bit of a recap on the game and my thoughts, and maybe you guys can share your opinions in the comments below. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts, 5-star review, always appreciated. And if you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. That helps the algorithm a lot. So let's get into it. For me, a live score currently of 701 points. I had vice captain as Hudson Young and captain as Tedesco. Very interesting just to sort of see how the game went, because I was very happy with, I was taking a gamble on not going Cleary for the I guess captaincy or vice captaincy, and in the end, in the last 5 to 10 minutes, he just started racking on some points with a try assist, 40-20 and a try itself. So he climbs back out from basically having a bit of an average score to having the best score, which was about 96 or 7 from memory. So he tops with 97 points, tops the whole game clearly by 16 points in total. Ethan Strange, in my opinion, was the man of the match, and I'm most really saying that because I had money on him, returning 1,300 for him to be man of the match, and I just thought he was the man of the match. But Cleary still did some amazing things, so he was definitely someone who could have got it and did get it. So let's talk about the match. Let's talk about the match, and let's not try and be bias or anything like that. I am a Maroons supporter, but let's talk about the match in general. So Queensland come out with an absolute bang. I mean, they really just came out and said, we want to win this game, absolutely dominating. And from that point of view, I was really thinking Mitch Barnett and AFB were just not cutting it. I mean, just on a forwards point of view, if Jackson Ford and Terrell May were there, I just think they would have been so much stronger. I don't even think Saifidi got any minutes tonight. I thought actually, and I'll be honest with you, because I was very against this pick, but I did think Radley was very, very, what's the word? He was very, very stable tonight. He wasn't giving any penalties away, no knock-ons. He was just a good workhorse, and I thought when he came on, he actually did have a bit of impact. The Ethan Strange coming in, I honestly believe if Moses was there, I don't think they're winning this game. They needed that spark. They needed that mobility, as I spoke about before in the first video when I said I really like him coming in and I think he'll be a big factor in this game, and that's exactly what we saw. Now, we have to talk about, obviously, when he becomes a factor and when a lot of the New South Wales players become a factor is when Queensland lose Kalyn Ponga for the whole match. Now, this happened, I think, from memory, at the 57th minute, so 23 minutes of one less player, and most probably, I'd say the top 2 player of the game. I think Sam Walker was number 1, and then Kalyn Ponga was second, in my opinion. Then I think Selwyn Cobbo was third for us. He was really impressive this game, even though that might not show on the Supercoach points. But let's talk about the head high. Let's talk about the send-off. Let's talk about the shoulder. And I'll just give you my thoughts on it and why it's annoyed me. Now, I'm not saying it shouldn't have been a send-off, and I'm not saying it should have been a send-off. And I want to keep this as, I guess, on balance as possible. I don't want to sound like one of these guys that are just angry and upset. The thing that really annoyed me with this is, at glances of imagery and pictures, there is no contact from what I can see from Kalyn Ponga's shoulder on Cooler's head. That's number 1. Number 2 is the concussion is caused by a head clash. Now, if you want to send off a player, I completely understand it. But send off a player with the correct information and it matching to actually what happened. Now, if you were listening, when Ashley Klein was coming up to Kalyn Ponga and Cameron Munster, he specifically said this: there was direct, well, maybe not quote unquote this, but there was direct contact to the head with the shoulder. that is complete. That is a complete, like, from what I've seen, an utter lie. The contact was made from the head to the head. Now, if he came up and he said, you haven't made contact with the head with your shoulder, it was a head clash, but the damage caused and the tackle initiated was very reckless. And for that reasoning, because of how reckless the tackle was, we are giving a send-off. I then understand it. But when you come out and say it was a shoulder charge to the head and you're off for the rest of the game, well, that's incorrect. Now, some people might be here and say it was a shoulder to the head. Some people might just say, doesn't matter, send off no matter what. And then there's going to be other people that say, well, it should have just been a sin bin. Now, I think one of my sayings is, and everyone knows this saying, is if you play with fire, you are going to get burnt. And at the end of the day, at the end of all of this, Kalyn Ponga just needed to tackle smarter. That's as simplifying it as much as possible. He just needed to make a smarter tackle, a less reckless tackle, and not give the referee and or the bunker or the touch judges the opportunity for him to be completely sent off the game. So we can and ah and we can bicker about, oh, was it a send-off? It shouldn't have been a send-off. That's crazy. But really, it all starts from a reckless tackle, and that option comes about because of the decision made of Kalyn Ponga. Now, I think Kalyn Ponga was very, very impressive this game. And as he was playing, I was like, damn, Billy Slater's so good at just picking players in form and just being so right about it. And it's just unfortunate that the guy that got sent off was literally our second best player, if not close to our best player for the night. I think New South Wales did everything they could to nearly bomb the win. The part where Tedesco just literally had to run at a player, draw, and pass a bit closer to Haumole Olakau'atu, that was crazy. I think New South Wales have a lot of work to do, and I think the selection process needs to change a bit. I think Jackson Ford could easily come into this team. There could be some changes in the center position. Kula looked good, no doubt whatsoever. Casey McLean looked really good when he came on as well. And I think Ethan Strange might just stay in the team. I really do. I think it's going to be Ethan Strange and Cleary. I don't think you'll see Latrell back for game 2. That's the news that was given. And you're going to see this team now likely win the series because Payne Haas and Latrell Mitchell will be due back at some point. But yeah, I thought Kotoni Staggs was only good in this game really when we lost our player. I thought he was going to give a bit more, to be honest with you. So that's something that I think maybe could change or just might stay the same, but I wouldn't be surprised. But I think he will stay in the team. I thought Matt Burton should have come on way earlier, especially once that send-off happened. I mean, look what he did in just the last regular season game against the Storm. They needed more mobility. He came on like with 10, 15, I think it was about 10 minutes ago, and I thought, man, you should have just brought him on way earlier. I thought Britton Nikora gave some really silly penalties and just silly things, like when he did that cut across on the chase of the kick, and then he said challenge it, I was fine, and then all of a sudden we lose a challenge and it sparks momentum. I will say one thing that I found really, really interesting and just a poor decision, and this is not to say this lost us the game, but if you go and rewatch the game, the last kick that Sam Walker did, I think was so bad. He basically was at like our 45-meter line. He grubbed a kick and he sent it out in New South Wales like 45, 40-ish line. And when he did that, as soon as he did that, I thought to myself, why wouldn't you just bomb it up and get it in the 20 to 10 meter line and make them work for 90 meters? Like, it just felt way too close. And then all of a sudden they get a bomb up, Tedesco, Hail Mary, and it works and they score and they win the game. But yeah, very, very rough, very unfortunate, and it is what it is. I thought Toya was great this game. Sam Walker controlled the match very, very well. I think we'll see him back definitely in the team. I think the big news is Supercoach wise as well. Kalen Ponga, how long will he be suspended for? If that is the case, obviously Reece Walsh is not going to be a trade in Supercoach wise. But yeah, it's going to be a very interesting game too. Very interesting. Hudson Young, great as always. He's just a workhorse. Nothing else much to talk about in terms of just like the Supercoach side of things. But the game itself was a cracker. Like my heart was beating until it was just going. It was just going. I'm like, oh my gosh, we actually are going to lose this. It is what it is. Jojo Fafita, started okay, but like had a big knock on from a bomb. I think as the rain got heavier and New South Wales had more possession, it got harder for us to make really big catches and really big tackles. There was also a moment where Cameron Munster gave us 6 again on the 5th tackle, or on the 4th tackle leading to the 5th for holding on to someone's, I think it was Katoni Stagg's legs too long. That was super costly. So the little things like that really just added more pressure onto us. But a really valiant effort from Queensland and a really valiant effort from New South Wales. You thought the game was wrapped up in the bag. And, you know, that's what footy's all about. One bad decision can change and swing momentum in the click of a finger. And this could have easily been like a 30 to 20 game for New South Wales if they didn't make some key errors, nearly scoring. But Tedesco gets the last try to win the game. Cleary gets the man of the match. And Ethan Strange is most probably the best impact player here for the series with Sam Walker. Let me know what you think in the comments below about the game, whether you think it was a send-off, whether you think it wasn't, whether you just don't care and you're like, let's just get to game 2. I'm sure there's going to be a lot said. Wonder if the NRL will even come out with a statement. I doubt it. Let's move on. And at the end of the day, as I said to you before, if you play with fire, you're going to get burnt. Rough to see for Kalen Ponga owners out there. You're hoping it's not too serious, but he could be a very, very big trade out for Supercoach. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Wolfie here from the Rage Traders. Take care of yourselves. See you on the next video for Supercoach. Congrats to the New South Wales team. Celebrate your win and see ya for game 2. Good luck.